What do other YouTubers say in their intro? Does Summer Rain Oaks have to introduce herself in the videos? That is my question, because I'm on the same level, clearly. You know, I think this channel does not need an intro. I have concluded that, first of all, because I cannot think of one, and second, y'all know it's gonna be about Hoyas. That's it. That's all I have to say for the intro. And of course, hello, and my name is Miro. Don't ask about basic plants. A couple of weeks ago, I made a video about my Hoya collection with silver leaves, and if you want to check that video out, you can click here, most likely, or I think it's definitely this side. I'm 100% positive. And in that video, I told you that I would like to also make a video showing you all of my Hoyas with splashy leaves, and well, I changed my mind. Mostly because there are a lot of Hoyas that do have splash on their leaves, so it's, you know, not that special. I mean, yes, it is kind of special. We all love to see the splash. So what I decided to do instead is to pick 10 of my favorite Hoyas to show you today that have splash on the leaves. Now, some of these plants do have splash, the descriptor, the money-making descriptor in the parentheses, and some of them do not, but they are very clearly splashy. And I just think they're very nice plants to have, so it doesn't really matter if they have splash in parentheses or not. We are just gonna take a look at these plants, and you know, all of them are gonna have splash, I promise. No shady business like in the last video where I wasn't sure, you know, what is silver and what is not. This is all definitely 100% splash. The good thing about Hoyas with splash is that you can find them for as little as, you know, $5 for a pot. You can get Hoya Memoria that has a lot of splash, or you can get many of the Pupacalixes that have a lot of splash, and I would say that none of the plants here today cost more than maybe 50 or 60 euros per a cutting. Now some of them cost way less than that, some of them are just on that... There is a word that I'm looking for. It's not a border. Limit. I think it's a limit. Move on. Anyways, I will show you the plants now in no particular order, and I do want to say, and I think I perhaps already said this, all of these are Hoyas that I really like. The first plant that I'm going to pick for you is a plant that I got from Betsy as a gift from her store Hoya My Gosh, and this is Hoya caudata, silver spotted, the label is stuck, and that's all. Well, that was a waste of time. So it's silver spotted Hoya caudata. Now I used to have Hoya caudata silver, but unfortunately my Hoya caudata never recovered from root mealybugs. I tried to reroot it a couple of times. I still may have it somewhere, or I think I trashed her. She wasn't just, it was not happening for this plant, so I decided to kind of, you know, let it go in the most positive way, which is trash, because I already had this one from Betsy. Now this one arrived as 1 or 2 leaf cutting. We already have pollen falling out so early in the video. I cannot remember if it did produce a peduncle here or if it arrived with a peduncle, but I guess it doesn't really matter. What matters is the gorgeous leaf that this plant has. So this is the OG leaf that you can see there, and as you can see, lots and lots and lots of splash there and on the smaller leaf. Now this plant has since started to grow and to grow into the wire on the back of my tent, so we appreciate that, and it produced a couple of new leaves that have hardened off, but of course because now it is growing in higher light, you can see that those are a bit, what is the color? Orange? It's sun-stressed. We're just gonna say it is sun-stressed. You can see what those leaves look like. I do think that they're really nice. My previous Hoya caudata silver did not really cooperate in terms of sun-stressing. It did not look this nice, even though it did sun-stress at one point. I do think I'm going to move it in less light, but I do have to say that perhaps in higher light it may bloom sooner, but it is growing really well. Let's just do the, you know, routine Miro, should I repot it? Checkup, yes. Disappointing. However, this is not the only caudata that I wanted to show you today, so I decided to, you know, throw in a couple of more. Well, actually one more caudata, but I think with a couple of plants here, I decided to throw in another one. This is the Hoya caudata Gold. I got this from my friend Farah from Sweden, and I don't think these two are the same. They feel very different, however. This one is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, both of them are, but you can see this one. is so pretty. Let's just compare them. They're both very beautiful, but caudata gold is definitely darker. And I can tell you, it is also more difficult to find. I was lucky because my friend had it, but you don't typically see Hoya caudata gold. Oh my gosh, those leaves are amazing. I cannot wait to see the new leaves. This one is definitely slower. You can see it did produce a vine, but no leaves yet. And I got them around the same time. This one, it says August 22nd. And this one, I think, was just a bit before that. So, to be fair, this one in the beginning was not growing in my Mars Hydro grow tent. Both of them grow now side by side in that grow tent, and they're doing really well. But in the beginning, my Hoya caudata gold was growing in my Rotsta cabinet, and it did take a long time for it to take off. So I am interested to see what the new leaves will look like. But if, you know, my experience with the grow light and the grow tent serves me well, I just think that they're gonna look pretty great because all of the Hoyas across the board have started to push out really beautiful leaves in the grow tent. Now, I do have to say one thing about Hoya caudata. Very frequently we can buy Hoya caudata from Sumatra, and that is most likely Hoya species affinity caudata. And what I read is that one of the ways to differentiate them, if it's growing really fast, it's most likely affinity caudata. It seems that true caudata is slower to grow, a bit more difficult to bloom, and also a bit more finicky. I'm not really sure if that is 100% true. I can say that my Hoya caudata silver, the one before this one, that one did grow semi-slow. I have one Hoya caudata or affinity caudata from my friend Carolina that grows really fast, blooms early on, and it is beautiful Hoya to have. So that is all about Hoya caudata in a sense that it's not all about Hoya caudata, but all that I wanted to say today about Hoya caudata. The next Hoya is one of my favorites. It's a Hoya that I simply adore, and it is Hoya sigillatis. I have two today because I think these are the most splashy. First one is actually a cutting from a mother plant, which is not doing so well. It's not completely dead. I do have some cuttings, but what had happened, again, root mealybugs, and it just never looked the same. This is a cutting that I took, I think, before the root mealybugs, and I gifted it to my friend who since has stopped temporarily growing plants, and she decided to give back the plant to me. And as you can see, it grew really well, and that's just an amazing amount of silver. You can see it's very, very, very splashy. I think borderline, like we can call it silver, I guess. I mean, I know Hoyas from my silver video were almost like this. Some of them were almost like this, but Hoya sigillatis is a beautiful one to have. It is a bit finicky. I find this one to be a bit finicky. Affinity sigillatis like VL9 or GPS7240 are not, or the one that is, I think, from Alas River. Those are not as finicky. Well, Alas River a bit, but that's maybe because of mites. This one gets offended easily and she does not forgive, so in that way we are very similar. You know, holding the grudge, that's what we do. So, this plant, I mean, maybe that's why I love it, I don't know. But yeah, she will definitely hold a grudge, not the one to forgive you. It does not like to be underwatered, this Hoya sigillatis. However, I still love it. It grows really well in high humidity. I think it can grow okay in lower humidity, but so far I had the best experience growing this Hoya in the grow tent. Now, I think in 2020 I had a smaller, I still have that smaller Mars Hydro grow tent, and I had this plant in there and it grew so fast. It was really, really fast. Now when I got this back, I decided to put it also in the grow tent, but it's been in there for only a couple of weeks. So, you know, shockingly, no result yet, but I think we are soon going to see some new growth on this plant. Now I do have another one, and this one again from Betsy. This one arrived in on August 22nd, and this one is Hoya sigillatis AH001, and they call it Hoya sigillatis silver. It is different. In the beginning, to be quite honest, I could not immediately tell the difference between these two. So maybe if I kind of bring them to you, see, it's kind of similar. However, this one did make one new leaf here, so we were extremely generous. And these leaves are definitely different. They are tougher. They do feel a bit different to the touch. Like they're still not fuzzy, but they are still rough to the touch like regular sigillatis. If you have it, you know, it's not fuzzy. It's a bit rough to the touch, maybe not even velvet, not quite sure how to describe it. This one does feel a bit smoother, but the leaf shape there, as you can see, is different. It does look more like something like VL9 or GPS-7240. It's much closer to those in the leaf shape. And I do have to say, I do love that. However, all of the vine here that you can see did lose the baby leaves. I think that's probably in transport. I'm not really sure why I'm still holding on to that vine. I don't know if you will be able to see. There was like a itsy bitsy tiny vine growing there. So not super fast in the beginning. So, you know, from August to now, we didn't do much. I'm not pressuring you, but you know, we are on a schedule here. But I do experience that with the rest of the sigillatis. I think my VL9 and my GPS-7240 were also slow in the beginning. And then all of a sudden, after like 6 months, they took off and are unstoppable now. I think this is gonna take a bit more time. I do find that Hoya sigillatis in general prefers bright light. I have been very successful growing all of them in the grow tent, and that's why I decided to put this one back. I, for a moment, thought maybe I should just leave it in my room, but nah. You know, if it works, it works. Don't try to figure out something new if it works. So they seem to really, really like those conditions. So the next one is, again, a cutting from my mother plant. My mother plant is hanging, and honestly, I set everything up so I can't take it down. This is Hoya verticillata, and this clone in particular is EPC-997. And this one gets very beautiful. So again, this is from my friend, which is a bit dusty. I still am supposed to repot it because it's in semi-hydro. And I think I'm going to repot it to pond. Haven't done it. Most likely will not do it after this video, even though I will say I'm definitely doing it after this video because, you know, liar. You can just see how beautiful those leaves are. So this is something that is a bit more common, I think. It's not that difficult maybe to find anymore, but those leaves are just so beautiful. There was one that I saw the other day that was particularly fine, but I don't know where it is. It's a bit weirdly formed, but I mean, look at that. That is giving us some nice splash. But really all of them, it's really a beautiful Hoya. Very shiny leaves, as you can see the reflection from the light. Thank you very much for that. If it's in slightly lower light, it will be a bit slower, but in general, it is a good grower. However, I still did not have luck blooming any of the Hoya verticillatas, but that's okay. I do have to say I much prefer this one from my friend, and that's because my Hoya EPC-997 is hanging, and it doesn't look good. I mean, it has vines and stuff, but it's just a bit more difficult to make into something that's nice. So I think, you know, towers really work for verticillatas. This one has a particularly good side. And this side in the back is not particularly nice, but that's okay. We all have the good side. So that's the one here. Or sometimes we don't have the good side. Now the next one, which is also part of the same story, is Hoya verticillata former wibergiae. And I could not include this one, but this one also produces nice splash. I got this from my friend Carolina in 2021 in, it doesn't say which month, but I think it was June or July. And this one did not grow for a year. I treated it for mites so many times and it did not want to grow at all. And then I put it in the grow tent and all of a sudden it exploded. So this really happened in, you know, 2 months or so. This one is particularly interesting because, first of all, I mean, it does make a nice splash. We all know that, but that's not what this is about. This one has nice pink splash, you can see there. And that is from the light, and it actually stays on there for quite a long time. I'm not sure if we can see that. It's really, really pretty. And you can see it on that leaf. I do have to say, I think I exposed it to a bit too much light because you can see some of the leaves here towards the top, you know, it's a bit too pale green for me. I don't know. It's a bit too pale. but there is still splash, so I might move it to slightly less light. But it is growing well, and it does have a lot of splash. And what is that noise? Is that an airplane? Why? Hoya verticillata, former wibergiae, is one of the most popular ones, and in its time, which is no longer, it was really, really valued and really expensive. I think when I was looking for it in 2020, it was 50 euros for a cutting, so that was pretty high for a verticillata. And now, of course, there are some other verticillatas that have taken its place that are newer. But that's okay, that happens to all of us. We grow older and then we are worthless? Hello, my name is Miro and I am a motivational speaker. We're just gonna move on to the next Hoya. This is a Hoya that I got in July of this year as a 4-leaf 2-note cutting from my friend Farah from Sweden. If you want to follow her on Instagram or maybe inquire about some Hoya cuttings, you can do so. I'm gonna leave a Instagram page to the left of me, to the right of me, somewhere in the screen. Honestly, I did not even know how much I was gonna like this Hoya. When I opened the bag and I saw it, I literally almost cried because it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I really did not expect it. It has a ton of splash, which I'm gonna try to show you in a moment. You can see there, it just has beautiful leaves with lots of splash. You can kind of see gorgeous, gorgeous leaves. They all look really nice. It did stop to grow at one point because it's one of the IKEA baskets on my shelf in the grow tent, and this part reached the bottom, so it doesn't have the light really to grow. So it pushed out a new vine instead. And I gotta say, the first leaf is really funky shaped, but I think that's because it didn't really have space to develop. But this is really a fast growing Hoya, and I think I will potentially try to grow it on a trellis or on a hoop, because I would really like it to grow a lot, because I'm in love. I absolutely love it, and I just don't think it is, having the best opportunity to grow hanging in my tent. I think it will grow much faster if I kinda do this, but much prettier, because this is nothing currently. I do have to say I was not really on the lookout for this Hoya. I was not that interested in Minibelle Splash until I saw photos from Farah. And I do have to say I was really, really wrong not to be interested. And if you are unsure, I just strongly suggest that you get one because she is just beautiful. Really, really beautiful. I cannot say good enough things for this plant because she's so unproblematic and grows really fast. It does have a couple of peduncles, which I hope will bloom soon. And I promise I will definitely fix this situation so she looks nice on a hoop. Okay, the next one. You gotta sit down. She is looking good. I think I showed this Hoya to you. This is another Hoya from Betsy. Shocking, I know. And when it arrived, it had this one leaf here. So, it's okay. It's a leaf with some splash. And then, ladies and gentlemen, she decided that she wants to be absolutely stunning and gorgeous. So, she did this. And you can see just how fantastic those leaves are. Did I tell you the name of this Hoya? This is Hoya Michele. So this is a cross, Mike Bernardo cross named after Michele Roda. And you can see how gorgeous those leaves are. I had no idea this plant is so beautiful. And I also had no idea that it's growing another vine. So it's really liking the life in the tent. I do think I should probably think about trellising it soon, and I'm not even gonna admit that there are roots going out of the pot. We're just gonna ignore that because it's not time yet. I noticed an interesting thing, and it doesn't seem to be the trait on all of the Hoyas. So this one has splash on the back of the leaf. Isn't that fun? I mean, it's also very visible. Some of them have kind of something vague, but this is definitely visible. I absolutely love when I look at the back of the leaf of a Hoya and I just discover how gorgeous it is. The splash will get a bit pink. I don't know if we can catch that. This is growing in the grow tent in very high light. It's not direct light, but it is really bright in direct light, and it definitely loves those conditions. It's not super fast, I would say, But, you know, she is working. It's not one of those Hoyas that will sit and do nothing. It is known that this Hoya can make really beautiful leaves. I even saw almost full silver leaves. I don't think it's a particular cultivar. I think it's still Hoya Michele. But because Splash is really unstable, just like the past 2 years, you know, it can do many things. It can give you a full silver leaf, or it can give you a full green leaf or nicely splashed leaf. Now, let's just hope that we are gonna get a full silver leaf sometime soon, because I would love to see that. And just the veining and the shape of the leaf, it's really, really gorgeous. If you don't have Hoya Michele, like, trust me, you absolutely need one. This next Hoya is something that I got from Camilla. I think you saw it. I got it in May of this year, and it grows really fast. It's Hoya griffithii Splash. And this plant has tried to bloom, but unfortunately the peduncle kind of was on top of the leaf, and I pulled it to help it, and then I broke off the buds. I was really helpful, clearly. So we're gonna wait for the next pair of buds to show up on the peduncle, but I was really surprised to see that. Anyways, when we got her, you remember she had 2 leaves. This is one, very, very dark green, and lots of splash there. It's beautiful. Don't question it. This is the second one. Now, I do have to say, she did make one slightly big leaf, not as big as these ones, but then the rest of the leaves are significantly smaller. And that's because we are growing her in highlight. By we, I mean me. There is no one else. She is growing really fast, but the leaves are smaller and the green is lighter. So if you do want to maintain that, I would say try less light. I currently don't really know where to put her because it is in the corner of the tent. It looks very beautiful still, but I would just love to see more of those amazing, because these leaves are really impressive. These are really big, and I want more of those. I want to be impressed. The peduncle is here. The one that I tried to help it. It was kind of like this, right? And the buds were growing on the leaves, and I just pulled it, and did I damage it again? Yep. Now I damaged the baby leaf, trying to show you how I damaged the peduncle. Can someone stop me, please? So as you can see, she did grow quite a lot from May. I did not know this is such a good and fast grower. I thought this was going to be a bit of a more difficult Hoya to grow. And I do have to say this is one of the best examples of my trellising, and I'm not saying that ironically. I really think this is a great example of my trellising skills. Like, this is good. It can get much, much, much worse. That's Hoya griffithii Splash for you. There are some other clones of Hoya griffithii that can get Splash, but I only have this one. I may or may not get another one soon, but this is just really, really beautiful. Now we have another Hoya from my friend Farah. So this is like just a video dedicated to Betsy and Farah and Camilla. I had no idea. This is so cute. If I had known, I would have gotten it sooner. This is Hoya crassipetiolata Splash, and this Hoya arrived as a 1 leaf, 1 note cutting, and sorry, we're dripping. And you can see how much she grew. I mean, this is just a beautiful, beautiful splashy Hoya. I don't know how much we can see because, you know, the screen is far away from me, but I mean, the pattern on those leaves is amazing. And the leaves are super cute and small. I thought they were gonna be larger because I had no idea what this plant looks like in real life. Obviously, never owning it. So this is really a fantastic Hoya to have. I do think I might need to kind of fix the trellising. It seems to me that this one did not particularly enjoy what I did, but I just cannot get over how gorgeous those leaves are. I did see some clones or some Hoyas that were named crassipetiolata Splash and they were not splashy. Usually those are going to be cheaper. For something that has a lot of splash, you will pay a little bit more, and it seems to be stable. So I don't know if there are 2 clones or not, but this one seems to be truly the very, very splashy one. I do have one more Hoya from Farah, and so this is just a carnosa. She told me this one does not have any descriptor, but that she consistently makes splash, very splashy leaves, but it's not stable splash. Now, Hoya carnosa does make lovely splashy leaves, and I just wanted to include a carnosa here in the video because I think you can get a really nice looking carnosa with splash for really very little, so you don't have to pay through the roof to have something splashy, and I just wanted to show you how beautiful they can get. I am also taking this time to kind of talk as much as I can so I can clean the leaves with my fingers before I show this to you because it's dusty. You can see how gorgeous those leaves are. I mean, absolutely beautiful. But you do see, she ain't stable, but when she does make splash, she goes all out. I mean, that is just fantastic. Really, really fantastic. It is one of my favorite Hoya carnosas that I have, and I have a few. I mean, I love them all now because, of course, I had to turn into a carnosa addict. I do hope it continues to stay splashy or to produce splashy leaves. I hope it also picks up with the speed of growth. It may need to be repotted. Yeah. See, this is a cover pot. I'm holding it for the inner pot. The cover pot is stuck. That means we have outgrown it. So if you want something splashy but you don't want to spend a lot of money, just go take a look at some Hoya carnosas. I mean, you can perhaps find some in the Hoya groups that are very splashy and you know that people are not overcharging for, because really I think this is just a regular carnosa that decided to be very splashy, and that's okay. We appreciate it. We appreciate the effort. I have two more Hoyas to show you. This one technically doesn't have the descriptor splash. When I see it, technically it doesn't have splash at all. I mean, it has splash on the leaves. This is Hoya undulata, and I just could not make this video and not show Hoya undulata because I think it's one of the most beautiful Hoyas. I know it's arguable, people don't think so, but I mean, you can see she makes tons of splash. Not as much as those silver caudatas. Again, we have a lot of... Why am I not cleaning these plants? What's going on, Miro? Really nice, deep green that can become a bit purple in the light. And of course, the purple splash. I'm not gonna talk too much about Hoya undulata, except that I don't know how to trellis it. Oh, we do have a peduncle here. That's what I wanted to tell you. We do have a peduncle. Finally, one of the cuttings from this plant bloomed sooner than the mother plant, so thank you very much for taking your time. I think this is just very special. The leaf shape is very special. They're very nice. I know that to some people this may look ugly or scary or whatnot, but I just really think it's very unique. I just like those ruffled edges. I think they're super pretty. I do think she can get even more splashy. I don't know if there is a full silver one yet. I know Hoya mitrata can get splashy. Mine is kind of sometimes green, sometimes splashy, but you now have full silver mitrata, which is sold as species buntak. That is, I think, mitrata. Who knows, maybe we will have a silver undulata. I'm not really sure though how it would look. I don't know, what do you think? I think maybe it would look weird. The last silver Hoya is something that unfortunately had root rot, so I had to restart it. It used to grow in semi-hydro, and when I was repotting from semi-hydro, because I abandoned that system, I repotted it to a regular mix, and it just never adjusted. This is Hoya Rangsan. It used to be sold as species Rangsan, but it's not a species, it's just Hoya Rangsan, and it's a suspected latifolia cross. I don't even know how to show you this. I might need to get up myself. It's just gorgeous. That leaf is particularly beautiful. It is one of my favorite splashy Hoyas, and I think a lot of people like it. I'm gonna try to be gentle because it did damage a couple of leaves when I was repotting it, so that's fine. Like this one is holding on barely. We're trying to not, you know. So, beautiful splash. Listen, it's okay. It was already, like, you can see it was already wrinkled. So, but the rest of them are firm, which is a good sign. I think we're growing some nice roots. It used to be much prettier than this, but it used to be only one vine. So I guess now we're gonna have 3 vines, which may be a blessing or maybe a curse, but it's my own choice to do that. So I couldn't root it as one vine, obviously, because it would be too big and that doesn't really go over well. What I wanted to say about Hoya Rangsan is I don't like the flowers. It has latifolia type flowers. They never make a nice full ball. They don't last very long. They're very small. The scent is okay, but they do make a lot of mess. Maybe it's not worth it for the flowers. I would definitely only get it for the leaves. I think this is one of the Hoyas that I always want to have. It's really special to me because it's one of the first cuttings that I imported when I was normal. It kind of kicked off the entire Hoya craze. That is all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. I would like to know which of these Splashy Hoyas is your favorite, and if I, didn't show some that you have, let me know. I would just in general like to know which of the Splashy Hoyas is your favorite from your own collection. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe to the channel because it really does help a lot, and maybe then I will repot more of these plants on time, in the repotting videos. There is a repotting video coming, for sure. Because clearly these plants do not understand that I don't want to be repotting all the time. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you very soon in the next video. The casualties of this video. Goodbye! I would like to take some time to thank my patrons. A very special shout out to Mirka Grunrus. Thank you so much for your support. You are incredible. A massive thank you to my $5 patrons. My 3 anonymous patrons, Alex von Siebenthal, Anne-Margaret Moen, Anne C., Betsy Begonia, Carey, Cynthia Taylor, Danube Daniels, Daria Kaminska, Farah, Gina Geise, Houseman Heather, Hoya Heather, Jessica Chio, Kayla Vavra, Kelly Koo, Kelso, Kristen Sherwood, Leplan de Steph, Mandy Milliken, Mars B., Martina, Alif Perday, Marty Miller, Melissa Walker, Nicole Ferranti, Mirka Grunrus, Nicole Moreau, Nicole and Caleb of Schleif Tropicals, Nita Macy, PJ, Rachel Colette Conroy, Robin L. Jennings, Sherry Kumar, Stephanie H2O, Stephanie Zeely May, Tanya, Tessa Martins, TJWO, Wendy Foreman, and Zlokov Niponi. Also, a big thank you to my $3 patrons, Angelina Farnan, Anne Margaret, Brianna Phillips, Kilone, Claudia L., Fluffy Blush Sheep, Jerry Scarden, Lisa Helling, Liz Martinez, Morgan Kennedy, Nella, Nerdy Kathy, Plant Druid, Plantalania, Ringlov, and Tang Watanas Riakul. And a thank you to my $1 patrons, Brandon Pacheco, Carrie, Jacinta, Lauren M., Lori N. Subramaniam, Luzman Fernandez, Marissa, Neely Spicer, Olivia Chin Mueller, and Paula Plants. Thank you all so much for incredible support. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that I inspired you to get more Hoyas because that is what I do best. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you soon.